So, oh, thank you, Sheena. Kikwa is gonna be joining us a little later because he's wrapping something up. But did you guys hear of that? Here, the 2023 NPLA legislative update. I know it was in here. Oh, here.
I heard
Uh,
about it, but I don't know if anybody doing it yet. And I'm not really the ADU guy, so just not sure
oh,
about that yet. It's California's kind of tricky on that. But I don't know. I'll let you know if I do. But yeah, I heard that it's coming up or that's passed, and that there's a lot of investors excited about it. But the ADUs are still. I mean, it's starting to get a lot more ADUs done, but there's so many different jurisdictions in Southern California that they're all treating it a little bit different. Some are more favorable than others. So yeah,
um,
I don't know.
and you're talking about the by county?
Yeah, well, not only county, but like you have the LA County, but then are you in the city of Burbank? Are you in the city of Beverly Hills? Are you in the city of West Hollywood? So it just all depends on where you're at. Um, if you want to do an ADU in the city of LA, then yeah, but that tends to be a little bit more favorable now. But you need to be in like in a good neighborhood, not in a war zone, because then it just doesn't really pencil out.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Thanks, Alex, for sharing that. It's good to see you, bro.
What up? What up? Yeah, I just had to hop on. I'm selling my beach house in Oahu, and then I still have a big issue with this Wailuku property, and Maui. So I wanted to kind of maybe throw that out there to the ether and see if someone wants to help me with it or buy it off me or something.
Yeah, let's
Because
talk about it. What
Are you
are
doing
you?
the Happy Valley one?
yeah, yeah,
What's happening?
yeah,
Well, permits or
yeah. Permits. We've been permitting forever, and then we got that back, and then they said that the downstairs is like conforming, and but it's part of the square footage on title, and so we're gonna try to go back. But man, I'm just at the brink of like I'm gonna just like let this thing go. Then like if it's just like what am I gonna do? Like I'm into this thing, 640 or something, 660, 670, and it still needs like 150, maybe 200,000 to finish. The ARVs stayed strong, but if now I can't use the bouncers unit potentially, so we're just throwing a couple of things out there. Like, what do we do with this thing? Because I'm not gonna. I mean, I've been holding this thing for almost 2 years now, so I can't keep holding it and just keep throwing bad money at it. So I've kind of proposed the idea of like, well, how about I partner up with somebody? They bring in the capital, they manage a project, and I just take a less of a loss, and they take all the upside, compared to like me continue to hold it and then try to figure it out remotely because I'm not going to be in Hawaii as much. I'm concentrating on lowering my expenses and reducing downsizing some of my team and focusing more on finishing my 18 unit building value add deal in Arizona above all else. So yeah, this Maui thing is just like we listed it, but it's as is, and we haven't really getting any traction on it. So, any advice, anything that you guys could tell me on this, it's greatly appreciated because I'm really at the brink, just like what, fuck it, let it go then. Like I'm not
Yeah.
going to keep paying $4,000 a month, and then or I'm at a point where like I just okay, we're going full speed ahead. We're going to finish this fucking house. Excuse my language, and I don't give a fuck what Maui County says. Like I'm just going to finish this house now and then rent it out to somebody that that lost their house in the Lahaina fire, and then figure something out. Like get a premium and let it cash flow that way or something. Because like, what's my alternative? Like, I just can't keep on waiting and dicking around with with the county about it. Like, I need to finish this house. I'm lucky enough to get an extension from the hard money loan, but like I keep on pushing the can down the road, and yeah, I just don't know what to do. I'm a little bit I'm confused and like what I
How
should do
long has
with it
it been
because it's
in
not
for permitting?
like 10 months, and then they just like came back with they responded, which was but it took them 10 months, and then what they came back with was like a bunch of revisions and or changes and or that the downstairs unit might not be conforming because of
Yeah,
the ceiling height. So what do you guys think?
because the ceiling height, huh? Oh, Well, what is it?
that's
What
a
is the
hard one
height?
to
Seven?
fix.
What?
The ceiling height is a hard one to fix, especially on a downstairs unit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
So they're saying it's non-conf. it's not conforming, right?
Yeah.
So you can't use that as value, I guess, in appraisal. But you're trying to sell, right? You're looking to sell.
I'm trying to sell it as is for like mid to high sixes and take less than $100,000 loss, or partner with somebody, take less than $100,000 loss, let them get all the upside, and just not lose $250,000 and sell it like as is to whatever that someone's willing to pay for it right now in this market.
Yeah.
So it's
What's
like,
the
and I just
ARV?
rather. I mean, if we, it's tough to say, but 900 to a mil. I think high eights if we're like unlucky and we can't use the bottom unit at all, or I doubt it would be anything less than like nine. I mean? But I asked the expert here, which is Greg, a lot more than I am. So I don't know.
I mean, I haven't checked Happy Valley, but like what you're saying sounds conservative, realistic to me. I mean, can't really get a house in Maui for 800,000. So,
It's
I mean,
true.
if we're talking about the house completed and finished, I would, again, depends on kind of what's the square footage and like what's the legal square footage and what's the actual usable square footage, because buyers will pay a little bit more, even though it won't come in appraisal. But, yeah, I mean, at least $1 million, I would think, especially
Yeah.
if it's all renovated and new, it should be a little bit more. Especially
Yep.
because it's kind of a good, I mean, it's not a good location, it's Happy Valley, but like
Let them have
it's a good
it.
location within Happy Valley because it's backed up to the valley.
Yeah, it's a nice lot size. It has ocean view, at least from the front of the house, and it's
Yeah.
a larger home. So it's like it's showing on title like 1,900 square feet, but it's 3-2 upstairs with a massive master suite, that exits to the backyard, and then there's a 2 or 1 bedroom, 1 bath downstairs, or just a large storage that that's going to be used as a living area anyway. So yeah, I would say it's about a mil. Well, we say 950 to a mil. And so, yeah, I'm just like, frankly, I just don't want to raise capital anymore for this deal. And then my private lender that gave me 100 for it, it's like down my throat about like getting his money back. So I'm trying to figure something out, on that.
Yep. I think you're thinking around the right lines. Because like I mean, Kiko and I've had to do this a few times. It's like you gotta come to terms. Like, all right, this is a loss, or like this, just get out of it already. And there's a few times where I think we hung on too long, and we paid the price. And like you said, like you throw bad money at a deal, and look, it may not. It's not just that it's a bad deal. It's just time can consume some like an investor's everything, your resources and stuff. So it's not like the deal, the numbers still might pencil out. It's just the opportunity now is no longer for you, right? And we've had to do that too. Like I've been a motivated seller before. But like I think if anybody has, because like yeah, Maui's tough for me now because I'm not really out there. But I know Greg, you're out there. Yeah, maybe if you can help Alex take a look at it. And then Chantel's on. There's a bunch of people from Maui on here. If we can band together and see if we can help Alex think this through.
Well, I mean, it's housing, right? We're trying to, I mean, there's just a bunch of houses just burnt down. Like, let's get this house finished. Like, like that's, my object. I'm not trying to make money on it. I'm just not trying to lose $250,000. And I'm not that desperate. I mean, so, and my private lender, like, so we've tried so many different angles with it now. I'm just exhausted, like my creativity with it. And I just feel like, but there is still like some meat on the bone because now the prices, the original ARV was high sevens, low eights, and now it's like high eights, low nines at minimum, possibly mil. So it's like, okay, and I'm into it 675 or so. So it's like, but I just don't have any more bandwidth to keep throwing money at it. Not currently. I mean, I got a bunch of other projects I got to kind of prioritize above this one, right? Because it's not like a clear sight to like making money. If there was, then I'd be all over it. But it's like still hazy to me of like, how do I finish this one and get my private lender paid off and or replaced or somewhat paid down because it's not a recorded second on that. So and he's understanding. He's in construction too, so he's like he's willing to do the rehab with his mentor as well. So we have the crews. So it's like it's really just like the money and or the execution of the rehab I really don't care about County of Maui. Like I just whatever, we'll just finish the house and then we'll just figure it out from there because an unfinished house is not going to help anybody. You know, not a family. You know, they lost their house in Lahaina. Not anybody. You know, there in that neighborhood. Not a new buyer. Nobody. It's not going to help nobody. So we finish this house like and get a permit after the fact or something. Because I think I can still make 100,000 profit. That's the thing. I'm like, dude, if I bring in the right partner, let him make the 100, and then I'll just like take a $50,000 L rather than a $100,000 L, right? So all right, cool. I'm at that position where it's like, let's partner up. You just help me lose less money. You take all the upside. Let's go. Or just buy it off me for what I'm into it now, and then or something around there, and then it's like I'll give you all the architecture plans. I'll give you everything that we've worked on it, everything that we've actually we already put 80 into it. So yeah, I don't want to ramble or take the whole call up, but
No,
thank
no,
you
no.
for hearing
No,
me
this
out.
is good. Yeah, it's good. Thanks, Alex, for sharing. And hopefully if we have anybody that can look into it. And I can even have eyes on it too. Alex, if you want to link up after, maybe we can get creative. Sounds like you thought through it a lot though. Yeah.
Yeah, Alex,
Yeah.
send me the details and whatever you got. I'll take a look at it. And dude, the county, bro, like Maui,
Yeah. Yeah.
fucking A, man. Dude, we
Especially, I
got like,
mean,
I know you would think like I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but I've been waiting for permits to build a cottage for a year now.
yeah.
And like you would think with the fires, even more so that they would say, I've been talking about this, like people are not going to be able to rebuild their homes because it's going to take them at least 2 to 3 years to get permits. That's without lot clearing and rebuilding and like architect, all this stuff. It's minimum. People are looking at like 5 years, I think. So hopefully the county figures something out and says like, okay, our permitting process is a major problem and we got to fix this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Chantel left her contact too. She's on Maui as well. Alex.
All right. We'll talk to
I don't
Chantel
know
about
how
it too.
Maui County is, but I know I don't know if it was the deputy director who gave us a talk at the mastermind a couple months ago, and I understand the problem now, and it's actually a lot more complex than I thought, and so it seemed, and I credit to him because he had the courage to stand up there and he took ownership, that they could become more efficient. And I bet this is the same thing that all the other counties in the different islands have to go through as well, is bureaucracy. And so one problem that is kind of within our control that I learned was that you want to stay close to your architect, especially if you and or whoever's running your permits, stay close to them, because as the comments come back, that's where you lose the days. Your architect might have a bunch of other plans and projects that he's working on too, and might take them a couple of days to even look at it. Then they got to address it, sits on their desk, and then it goes in. Like you lose 5 days, and then
you could probably lose 5 weeks if you're not on top of them, right? Like,
oh dude, I'm ashamed
inbox.
to say how many months we've lost, because we didn't stay close to the architect. And we
My
paid.
thing is, I just email him every week, every single week. I must drive her freaking bonkers, but every single week I'm like, hey, heard anything back from fire? Hey, heard anything back from planning? She hates me, but it doesn't matter. We'll end up getting our permits faster.
That's the way to do it though, right, Greg? Like you have to, and maybe it's about setting expectations up early. It's like just like our guys, we gotta tell us, if you set the expectations, then as the situations start to arise, then it's a little less waste time having to argue about the situation. Set the expectations and be like, you might hate me for the next until this permit is in my hands. It just I have investors to answer to, I have partners to answer to, like kind of my life is on the line. I signed it for this money. Like throw it all out there and set the expectations, because that's one problem I've seen and I've learned personally. And me and Layla Kekoa paid big price for that, and it'll never happen again. The other thing is I realized there's, I think in Honolulu, he said there's 6 plan reviewers and they're behind 6,000 permits at the time. They're trying to you know, when maybe a couple years ago they were at 3,000 or something, you know, so you have 6 plan reviewers. That's it, right? So it's like, okay, let's get more plan reviewers. Well, it's not that easy, right? Not everybody wants that job, but like not everybody's lining up to get that job because one, I think it's like a salary of like $46,000, you know, so you can't even survive here for 46 starting or something like that. And you can't survive here on that. So it's like, okay, that's an easy fix. Let's pay them more. Let's incentivize them more, right? Well, apparently that's hard too, because now you're dealing with all the bureaucracy and the unions, and they have to agree. So no wonder these guys are taking envelopes under the table because they gotta survive, you know, and like if we want these guys to be full time, we gotta pay them what it's worth. If you only got 6 for Honolulu County, like you gotta pay them what they're worth. And if you
Dude,
don't,
Corey, now I
yeah,
finally understand why they get so excited when we bring them Krispy Kreme. I'm like, why do people pay so much for Krispy Kreme? It's
they
just a
cannot
freaking
afford this,
donut, man. But 46,000 a year? What the? That's crazy.
and like, so I get it now too. It's like it's hard to blame them as well. They're human just like everybody else, you know. And so that's backwards. Like that's there's now I see the problem. Until we fix that, like I don't know, this is gonna go on unless we utilize technology, which is what one of the plans was, is to utilize technology. And I think he even mentioned AI. Layla, do you remember what he was saying on that?
I think they're doing like the pre-screen process via AI. So it looks for your file names are done correctly, and just some key items that an AI would be able to recognize. But I don't think that they've fully
No.
integrated AI into it.
Yeah, that's the plans, right? But I mean, at least it's a plan, like a viable one, I feel. So anyways, I think one, we gotta take ownership of what we can control. So we can definitely stay, you know, over the shoulders of whoever's running your permit. We learned that the hard way. And the second thing is I don't know how to fix that one. You know, we can't control that one until they kind of get things in order and put the bureaucracy aside and start to realize that this can turn into a crisis. You know, like people can't afford. Now we have a whole town that has been gone. That's a lot of inventory gone too. I mean, granted, the demand is going to leave for that as well, but still, like we need housing on our islands. And so, but developers don't want to come here because of the permitting. It costs so much money. It's so much risk, right? And they don't want to come here and invest in our islands. And one, too, is because the community fights them on it. You know, our people fight the developers, and then we complain about prices going up when it's like, well, you gotta choose. You know, we're gonna have high prices if you don't let them build. So as long as it's responsible development, I feel it's necessary. They should have our backs, you know. So I'm just going on my soapbox, but like I think if we all agree, and you don't have to agree, you know, but if you do, then we should speak the same words, and maybe at some point our voice will be heard. But anyways, if you guys yeah, it can help Alex if you're on Maui, take a look at the deal and like let's pull resources together and help him, like, you know, concentrate on what's important and what's, you know, going well in his business, and then maybe get a deal out of it too. So
Yeah, there's
thanks, Alex,
profit
for
there.
looking it up.
Yeah, thanks guys for looking at it. I'll reach out to Chantel and send that over to Greg.
Awesome. So I pulled up this the ADU thing that we were talking about at the last NPLA meeting, and it doesn't actually say what state this is for. Alex, do you remember what state this is for, or is this like this can't be a, you remember the ADU?
I thought that was California, wasn't it?
That's what I thought it was, California. But anyways, so it says it's guys, and I don't know how to read these. So AB 976 bill prevents local agencies from putting an owner occupied restriction on ADUs. And then there's another one, 1033, Bill 1033, bill provides that an ADU can be sold separately from main property by creating condos under the Davis Sterling Common Interest Development Act and in confirming with the Subdivision Map Act. Additional requirements include approval of all lien holders. And if it's within an existing association, then approval of that association. So it sounds like basically what a CPR is here in Hawaii. So it sounds like this will allow owners to CPR their ADU and sell it. So, and the NPLA is their stance is to be for that, it looks like. So, because it's
I think they have that in other states too, though, don't they? Because like I go to vacation in New Jersey every year, and my family has like there's a lot story, but like basically my great grandfather found this established this island off the East Coast, and so we go there every summer. It's a lot of family history. But there's a bunch of like up down duplexes there. It's like really common to have, and like all the houses are all like beach houses, very similar actually to Maui in a lot of ways. Like all the houses are vacation rental. It's 100% tourist economy, and all the up down duplexes are individually owned. So like basically they've been CPR'd, and like because I always fall for it. Like I see them listed for sale, and I'm like, holy cow! Look at this one. It's only 700,000 for a 3-2 and a 3-2, like a duplex.
Yeah.
And I get all excited, and then find out no, that's just the upstairs.
Right.
All the time.
Well, that
So
I
I don't know the laws or
right?
anything, but I'm almost positive that those are CPR, right? Like they're kind of minimized. How else
yeah.
would that be? Yeah.
For sure. But that's a duplex though. This is like an ADU, like you build ADUs,
okay.
right?
Okay.
But like, so what it's saying is institutional lenders may not allow borrowers to sell off part of the property, creating an opportunity for private lenders to step in and refinance the existing loan to allow the sale of the ADU. Likewise, traditional lenders may not want to make loans to the purchaser of the ADU though. So until lenders start to get comfortable with lending on an ADU, and maybe they will be, then it could possibly be, they're saying it could be an opportunity for the private lending industry to fulfill that need if the traditional banks are uncomfortable with financing an ADU that has been CPR'd and sold for profit. So
why would that be any different than like, okay, so let's bring up Ernesto again, just because these are the physical properties I know that are CPR'd and ADUs are sold and financed here on Maui. Who's financing those? And what's, it's just like condominium. It's just like if you were to buy, in my mind, why does it matter if it's an ADU or a duplex or whatever it is, like a condo or a townhome? It's all the same thing, right? It's just
I'm with you.
It's a condo.
That's what I feel, but I think for majority of the markets out there, CPRs are not as common as it is in Hawaii. So I think you and I see it as one of the same, right? Like if you see a CPR property and it's showing up as a comp, like, and maybe yours isn't CPR'd as part of a subdivision, has its own TMK, it's not sharing anything, then I weight it the same, a CPR or whether it's subdivided. I would use that.
Oh, really? You don't give more value to the subdivided solo TMK?
Well, it depends. It depends, right? Like if it's like a flag lot or if it's kind of landlocked CPR, or so it matters on deal by deal. But for the most part, if a property is CPR'd, like before, they would take a lot of value off, but now I don't see it. Like I don't see CPRs being devalued from appraisals or sales. I mean, do you, Greg?
I mean,
how much do you take off the value?
Yeah, that's
You're
a good
a
question.
former appraiser.
I mean, case by case, but like,
It's not
I don't
much,
know.
right?
It's not, I don't know. It just depends. Like whatever the market seems to be telling me, like, I don't know. I guess we could go back to the deal I'm working on right now that I was talking about where my ARV was 950, but those two CPRs, Ernesto just closed one right down the street, 950 CPR'd, and then the other one is pending for 950. So that's telling me that those CPRs are actually the same price. I don't know. In my mind, I'm just so conservative still that if I was looking at a CPR comp, I would still say like, okay, if the CPR comp is 950, then the subdivided lot's got to be probably 1 million or, a little bit
A little
more.
bit
I don't
more.
know. 5,
Yeah.
10% maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I could
Because
see
I
that.
don't know. I wouldn't buy a CPR myself. Like,
But it
unless
also
I had to,
matters
I'm not saying I
too.
wouldn't, but like, it would be my last resort. I would much rather buy the house with the cottage to rent out the cottage and, not have an HOA and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, it
to me,
matters
it's,
too. I mean, the
yeah,
HOA, like how serious do they take it? Like, so yeah, I see that. But this we're talking about an ADU. Like, I think it would be huge if this goes kind of starts to bleed over into other markets like our market. Like, we could use that, I think. Yeah. Why would that be a problem? I don't think that would be a problem. Yeah. Well, anyways, that was an update that I thought was kind of relevant for us to know. The rest is kind of like lending stuff like loan servicing disclosures and all the boring stuff, There is one on rent control. But I didn't see anything new on that. Does this stuff interest you guys at all? Most of it's kind of heavy, like legalese and boring, but somewhat every now and then, like there was the wholesaling one where I think in the state of New York, they were trying to, or California, they're trying to kill wholesaling or tax it heavily.
Hawaii too.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
it's still out
but
there.
yeah, remember the email I sent you that like
Yep.
basically, I mean, I don't know, a kill wholesale. I get it, right? Like they want to, I guess, make it transparent, and some sellers might feel like the wholesale fee is coming out of their pocket or whatever. But in reality, and as a wholesaler myself, I have a conflict of interest, but I don't know. The way I see it is the contract. I'm selling the contract, and that's between me and the person buying the contract. That has nothing to do with the value of the property. But anyways, yeah, that the deal was basically what did it say? It was like anytime there's an assignment involved now, any fees have to be on all closing statements, basically. So like if I decide with another investor to sell my my position on the contract, we have to put onto the contract whether it's $1,000 or $100,000. We have
Right.
to put that onto the seller's closing statement, which like, look, I get full disclosure, but at the same time, putting it on their statement implies, especially to somebody that is not, a professional in this industry and understands what that charge is, it's just going to naturally imply to them that they are paying that money, like basically would look like a commission to them. And I don't know. I get it. Like there should be transparency and we need a way to protect and make sure this industry is regulated. But I don't know if that's the right way
No, I agree with
because
you. I don't think
yeah,
it's right because we have disclosure rights, but we also have non-disclosure rights. You know what I mean? And like if you and the seller agree on a contract price and then you're able to sell that contract for a higher price, right? And the only thing that disclosing that will cause disruption and bitterness, I feel, because you
exactly.
already agreed on the price. It's fair market value for the seller, and so if there's somebody like, to me, that's if anything, that's a non-disclosure right.
Exactly.
Like
That's
you
why I
don't have
just
to
don't tell
disclose it.
them the amount. I'm like, look, my partner, I always just say the buyer, the assignee is one of my partners because they are. If I assign deals to them, I consider them a business partner. And I say, look, my business partner is going to take over this deal. They're going to pay me for doing the work to, blah, 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 blah. They don't, I mean, and I don't get into amounts because maybe to some people, $1,000 is a huge, crazy amount of money,
Yep.
right? Whereas like, to me, it's like, I'm not gonna do that for $1,000. I'm not gonna do it for $10,000. Like it's,
Mhm.
you know, when you know how much work and money and marketing and everything goes into this, it's gotta be tens of thousands to be worth it most of the time. But then to other people, you might tell them you're making 100,000, they might think that's nothing. So you just
Yeah.
don't know how people perceive.
Yeah, no, totally. Marianne. Hi,
So,
Marianne.
yeah, hi, good morning. I noticed that now the lenders are all asking for the wholesale fee, and I was like, what? Okay. And then they almost kind of give you a hard time about it. So, as you know, we come from a space of being creative. So, what we've been doing now with our team, is that we're doing wholesale, either subject to or seller financing. Then that'll give us the right to just sell it to whoever, as if, you know, and again, there's many factors involving in that, but that's how we get away with, or trying to avoid all these scrutiny. And now, you know, if we're having a wholesale fee of $100,000, because we own the property, we wholesale of it. And so we still minimize our costs, because it's not a full-blown transaction, and it's subject to and seller financing. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I understand. Have you guys, I mean, Marianne, have you guys double closed here yet?
That's what I was gonna say. That's the only solution I see, but
No.
I've never.
No, we don't. Like I said, because our upfront costs for my acquisition is very minimized, we can hold it a little longer. So, and everything is disclosed with the sellers, so they understand and they're fine with what we're getting it from them. And yeah, it's just I just noticed that lately when you try to wholesale something, ESCO gets involved and they all want to know what it is. The lenders get involved. I'm like, since when? And you know, it's all factored into the cost of the sale price for that investor, but they still want to know the breakdown. So I say, this is stupid. So now we just pivot our strategy, and we still okay, if that makes any sense. So no, we
Mhm.
don't do double close.
Yeah, I've never double closed either, and we've had some pretty big wholesale fees. I think it comes down to just being transparent and open, like, and it is what it is. Like this is the price, and I'm not breaking the law. So, and as long as everyone's okay with the deal up front, then I think
Yeah.
you don't need to
I was
double.
thinking more. I was thinking more like if they start to change the rules when it comes to taxes.
Mhm.
So I don't know what difference does it make in terms of income versus wholesale fee tax. I mean, the government just wants to add any kind of shit taxes on you anyway. So I'm just saying if they ever did change the rule when it comes to taxes and they want a tax bracket at a different level for wholesalers, that's dumb.
Yeah, and you know what? I think the tax was not for wholesalers, it was for more fix and flip. I think that was in New York or something like that, where they're gonna put a heavy tax on anyone who has bought and sold within like 2 years or something kind of silly, where it would affect more than just real estate investors. It'd affect like average day retail, buyers and sellers. So but fortunately the NPLA was able to kind of stop that one. That was like their
Right.
first major win. Yeah. So but
I
they're
thought I
trying
heard Greg
to
said. I thought I heard Greg said earlier about some kind of wholesale. Did I catch that wrong? Greg,
uh
did you say about a wholesale tax or some shit like that?
no, that was me, but I think
Oh,
I
that
was
was you.
mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, I was mistaking it for, it was actually a fix and flip tax. Wholesaling, I think they just wanted to require a license to wholesale it, or basically be a realtor. um but I don't think that went forward in California. I think that was in California. I'm not on the legislative committee, thank God, because I don't think I could provide much value there. But that's where like all of this is shared, and it's a lot. Like just this last meeting alone, there was like maybe 8 bills here in this little legislative update. But the only one that caught my attention was the ADU one, because I know that there's some people in California. I'm pretty sure it was in California. But that could be a huge, play for, and you may not hear about it. Sometimes you don't hear this kind of stuff, like, but this one seems big. It should be put out there once it might even be legal right now.
Yeah, well, Thatch was talking about it at a meetup that I attended in LA, and everybody kind of knows who Thatch is, but he was saying that, hey, once this thing hits, you could condomize something in Southern California and then sell it off individually. There's gonna be a ton of money to be made. But I mean, I've been hearing this about the ADUs being like the silver bullet for a long time, and I just have not seen them like pan out like that at all. I've been hearing about it for 5 years, ever since I was really the beginning of my journey, and it's just because the construction costs, the timing, all that, and it just rarely ever pencils out. As a buy and hold, like I'm a homeowner and I'm buying it, I'm holding it long term, absolutely great move. But as an avid fix and flip or buy and hold investor, like as far as like trying to get good deals, like I just don't. It doesn't have that much upside for me, even like for hold or for flip. It's like, so it just has not been the secret. And there's so many delays and additional costs that come up, and it just doesn't really make a lot of sense. And so we'll see. I did hear a lot of people that made some money or I heard some people that made a lot of money in condo conversions. But you really got to know what you're doing in those situations. Those are complex transactions where when you're doing that. So we'll see. But I'll definitely report if I see anything positive on that end. But I think it's just a lot of hype. It's a lot of hype. I don't think it's really going to pan out.
Well, especially in California, because it takes so long, just like Hawaii and in some of the major cities, it's like it takes so long to get permits, and it costs so much to build the ADU. The return that you can get based off the extra cash flow, if you even do cash flow, or the equity if you were to sell it, like maybe there won't be equity in the ADU, right? But it's an option. I guess it provides another potential like exit strategy, right?
Yeah, what I have seen though is very lucrative and be successful from a couple of small developments, from a couple of developers in Southern California, is they'll be buying property that they say they could tear down a single family house and build a quad, with some of them allowing 2 ADUs concurrently with that quad. So essentially you're tearing a single family house and building 6 units where there was once one. The numbers turn out something like you buying it for say 6, 7, 800,000, tearing that down, and then building, spending $1 million plus holding costs. You're into this thing, say $2 million, and this thing's worth 3 or worth high 2s. Or, those situations I have seen and I'm interested in and still actively looking at those, but you have to buy in the right house with the right zoning and all of that, which is also, kind of a challenge, but it's a lot better, more upside than just buying a house and then building an ADU. It's like that play I've seen. I'm very interested because you're still in the single family space, so that end buyer can still get potentially that FHA or the variety of single family financing compared to being a 5-unit, and even those are being treated. It depends on the lender. Those ADUs are being treated now. Okay, now this is a commercial asset because it's more than 4 units. So, but yeah.
No, yeah, I heard of someone doing that. I think someone from New Wealth. Maybe.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Corey, that Danny and Jessica, their team. So it's in Hemet. It's actually a single family, and it's seemed to be picking up traction. So they partner up with someone at the club in the contracting side, where they're converting some of these single family to triplex.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a way of, not a way to get around the permitting, but still. But yeah, it is. It's one of the projects that they're piloting right now in our MFU class. So yeah, it looks like it's what's happening right now. And this is in Hemet, so not sure what the zoning is there. Yeah, but pretty good COC and on there, and really good. They're getting it for a good price too.
Yeah. I mean, that's
so Kiko wants more. That he's asking, do you have any more of that?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. No, yeah. Well, California is just like Hawaii. It's hard it's almost like you gotta get so creative. You gotta work around all the regulation and the rules. But yeah, we're entrepreneurs, right? We figure it out. Guys, I was reading the chat, and actually, there is some great stuff in there. And Kevin, thanks for dropping that in there too. What he said about permitting, when we're talking about permitting, right, is that he would go down every time that progress got stuck, he would go down to DPP. And that's huge. Let them see your face, consistently, hopefully with a smile, because it's just like anything else. Like, if people don't like seeing you, they're probably not going to want to see you or deal with you. And the bottom of the stack does happen. I've heard.
The squeaky wheel gets the permit.
Yeah. Before I was like, the squeaky wheel gets the bottom of the stack. No, I think times have definitely changed. They're more aware. But man, thank you guys for sharing. That was like we went like 45 minutes, didn't even like start the call, but we just went right into it. But does anybody have any leads, needs, and good deeds? Circle back. Oh, Tammy. Oh, it's all one screen. The ladies are together over there in Maui. Hi, ladies. That's cool.
Hi, Corey. It's Anne.
Hi, Anne.
Hi, everybody. I'm glad I didn't miss this. I had my kids' parent-teacher conference, so I didn't know if we got to the leads, needs, and good deeds yet. So here I am, just in time. I have a duplex in Milwaukee coming to you from the Midwest. If anybody is investing in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, contact me. It's a 2-1 each unit, just under 1,200 square feet each unit. And the asking price is $130. The seller sold his other duplex behind it with like a hole in the roof, and he said basically that the duplex was a turd, his words. And he sold it for $176. I would say, looking at an ARV of at least 185 in the area. If anybody is a Wisconsin investor, you can contact me. If you know anybody that's interested in Milwaukee properties, contact me. It's a city of about 650,000, sports teams, universities. It's the Diet Chicago of the Midwest, in my words. So I will drop my information if you know anybody that's interested. I have pictures. The seller's super communicative, open to a lot of things. So just give me a call or an email or a text, and we can communicate.
Perfect.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Sam.
Yeah.
I just put in the chat. I just put in the chat a good friend of mine in LA. He's a big investor, so probably delegate that to his acquisitions person, Gino. They buy a lot of stuff. I think they have maybe about 30 doors out in Milwaukee. So reach out to him. He's good people.
Nice. Thanks, Alex.
Yep. Also, I have a developer friend that just hit me up yesterday. He has like $500,000 to like up to $8 million to 1031 on. He's looking for, he's opportunistic right now, looking for value add deals, stuff, long-term stuff. So unfortunately, none of my short-term stuff work for him right now. And my other long-term project doesn't work for him. But let me know. So I'm actively he's looking for just really anything, commercial, storage deals, multifamily. He has $500,000 to $8 million to deploy as a 1031 exchange, looking for at least 10% kind of return on investment on that. And he's pretty active. So
that's a 1030. He has to buy something else though, right?
Yeah, well, he's going to be selling 2 buildings, so he's going to have quite a lot of liquidity that are done that he built. So
okay, is he gonna 1031 it, or is he gonna take the tax hit and he wants to get a return on the cash?
I think he's gonna 1031 it. So he's just kind of making decisions like, okay, should I sell it? And then if I'm gonna sell it, like what kind of assets can I buy right now? Because he's already kind of extracted all the value he can out of those 2 buildings that he built that he's selling off right now in LA.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Huh. So how much is he gonna have to 1031? He said like a few.
He said he has $500,000 to $8 million to deploy.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh, to
I put it in my
deploy it's like a
social, yeah, I
lender.
put it in my social media, and I got already like 7 or 8 leads or deals to look at right now, and send it over to him.
Oh,
and
so
we'll
you're just
see.
gonna allocate his capital for him, basically.
Yeah, he's a good friend. He just like, I know you got more following. He has like 500 people on his Instagram, so he's like, just put it out there, and maybe you could put a deal together and, make an acquisition fee, or, get a little bit of the, of the deal on the equity side. We'll see, just something win-win. So just throwing it out there.
Well, I know the ladies in Maui got some pretty nice deals. It might be funded already though. Yeah, Chantel, Tammy. Even Tammy's got a pretty decent cash flow deal.
Hi, you guys. Welcome. I mean, I'm welcoming you to thank you, Corey, for letting us talk. Yeah, I've been negotiating some business with the post office here on Maui with my Postmaster General, because I want to use their post office boxes for my build over on the Big Island. And that's not an easy thing to get, let alone get the locks to go with it. But I've been negotiating with the Postmaster General here. She took it to the board members, or a meeting yesterday with all the top dogs over in Honolulu, and she'll get back to me today, because I made them an offer that I would purchase the post office boxes from them and pay them $1 a box a month, because they wanted to treat me like a commissary, where they would take the mail out and just drop it off and I would have to fill it. That's like a UPS store. And I don't want to do that. I want it to be unmanned. But technically, they have to deliver it. And I didn't want to go there with them about the logistics of it. I just offered them $1 a box to put the mail into the post office boxes. And this way they make revenue off of it. And she's going to take it back to them, the board members, today. Post office box.
I think it's a good deal.
$1 a month, 4,000 boxes. I think that's a great deal to have. This way they're making revenue, and it's not that much. I don't have to raise my price of what I charge every month. I can still do a $10 a month for a post office box. Make it affordable for everybody. Awesome. And it's just, everything's working, but connecting with the post office is the most important, because I want their approval. Yeah. And I don't have to have it, but I want to use their boxes. I mean, I'll own them, but I don't mind helping them out.
Call me after, maybe right after this call, because I looked over your pro forma, and I think the deal's solid. It's just, how could you craft it for an investor for it to be worthwhile for the investor? Like, because a lot of times the investor wants to have a maturity date to their investment, right? So how do you pay it back when there's no real move to refi or exit strategy, right? The exit strategy might be to just ride the cash flow forever, or I don't know how you would know.
Well, actually, I met with a really good friend of mine in Lake Tahoe 2 weeks ago, and I am submitting a commercial construction loan through him. So the only thing that I need private money for is just to buy the land. And I have money, but I don't have enough money. And I just was looking at borrowing $100,000 for private money for the land. And as soon as the commercial construction loan closes, I would pay it back. Got it. I was told it was 45 days to 3 months. So I'm thinking if I could just do that for 6 months, pay 10% on it, that would, it's a short-term loan. And so and do you have a lender that could do that? Because it's kind of an unconventional. It's everything about it is not normal as far as our world of investing goes.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, it really is.
Sounds like a goal.
Yeah.
I think that the thing that means the most to me is to be able to help out about 14,000 people to get mail delivery, because they have to go into KAL and stand in line and wait for general delivery. I mean, that's like ancient old school,
well,
it's for the people. So
definitely give me a call after, Tammy. Let's talk about it. And then for Alex, I just wanted to spotlight something, because like Alex has someone who's coming in who has access, or it's his capital, and it's could be quite a bit of money. and has entrusted Alex to allocate it for him, right? Like that just shows you that and this is what it's important to understand, like you can make money. In fact, sometimes the connectors make the most money, you know, where their value is their relationships and how much they've invested in building genuine, mutually beneficial relationships long term, right? So much so that this guy has entrusted Alex to allocate his capital for him, you know. So that's a, you know, kind of a round of applause for Alex, because that's not easy. That shows you what you're worth too, right? If somebody's, you know, if you have private money and like let's say you're managing, you know, $3 million worth of private funds, well, like you should be proud of that, right? Because that shows you how much your trust, you know, how much trust is that you have out there. So credit to you, Alex, and also for putting it out there to for opportunity, because yeah, we can, I know you know, Tasha and Chantel have a couple of great deals too. Are you guys funded already on those in Maui?
Just one. We're needing funding on the other one.
Okay, maybe Alex dropped his info there too, so maybe you
Yep.
can.
Yeah, I think the main thing was just that they have to be like long-term plays, like 3 to 5 year plays, or not. He's not looking for short-term like funding because it's 1031 money.
Yeah.
So
Got it.
it just, yeah, he's got he doesn't want to build anything else in LA. So he's like, hey, you got a big network. I want to say he's completely trusting only me, but he's just like, hey, I know you're a deal maker. I know you do deals. Like, I know you have a big network. Just throw it out there and see what we can put together. And perhaps we can, you know, work on a deal together where you find the person and I'll either give you equity of the deal or I'll give you a nice acquisition fee. I'm like, oh, both of those work for me, bro. Let's go.
Nice. Okay, well, looks like Ann, you might be able to get some help from Alex too, right? For his connection in Milwaukee. So yeah, thanks for coming on, bro, and helping out. And let's turn it around and like let's see if we can really, you know, like get into a deal with maybe Alex too and Wailuku and help him out on that one.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Right on, guys. Well, I actually have a hard stop right at 11. It looks like Kikoa is still dealing with the issue who he was before he couldn't make it on. But next week, guys, we're gonna have I think it's next week. Leila, Sheena, the 3rd. Yeah. So next week we're gonna have a representative from John Burns Research come on and give a presentation. And you know, the NPLA is partnered with John Burns, and so in fact I haven't even asked if this is okay or not. Hopefully it is. I don't see why it wouldn't be okay, but it is a partnership with the NPLA, and it's, you know, we've been doing a great job by filling out that survey that they asked for. So thank you guys for filling out that survey. It really goes far in helping us get a better understanding of our industry. And we're very lucky that, you know, someone from John Burns will be able to come in and talk. So if you guys can make it next week for sure, I think it'd be great insight into market data and trends and get some direction, you know, to see where do we think, where is the data telling us that we're going. So it'd be interesting. Come with questions if you have any, and markets that you want to ask about too. I would be ready for that. Yeah, that'll be next week, Friday. So if you guys can make it, please jump on. Okay. All right, guys. Well, hopefully everyone has a great weekend and we'll see you guys next week. Aloha, everybody.
Aloha, everybody.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, ladies.
Happy Aloha Friday.
Happy Aloha Friday.
I got the